This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
That's not on me, by the way.
Tip off the Wolves home opener this Sunday with Meat Sauce. Join Sauce at Kieran's Irish Pub from 3 to 5 p.m. for a Sunday Bucket Slam. Enjoy specials on Kona and Michelob Ultra Buckets and register for your chance to win signed Timberwolves prizes. Full details available at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
What's the name of the place again?
Kieran's Irish Pub.
What time will that be?
3 to 5 p.m. Sunday.
Are we sure 3 to 5? Because I was just told that the Gophers game is coverage at 5 o'clock tonight and kickoff at 7. That was a week ago.
Well, sometimes mistakes are made. We
are either a day late or a week behind, one or the other. Couple 13-14 past final hour of the Common Man program for this today and for Friday. Halloween right around the corner, and why I have some grand Halloween costume ideas for you. This one says, dress up as a calendar with October and November ripped out for the foreseeable future and go as Twins playoff hopes. Easily recognizable. If that's not a costume that everybody's going to go, I wonder what that's supposed to be. They'll know exactly what it is. Here's another. Now that it's October, here's a Halloween costume idea. Going to dress up as the Payless Shoes owner and go as one of the Polad's new minority investors. Payless Shoes.
We still don't know they're investors, do we?
No.
They have yet to reveal that.
Well, I think... I don't even know if they've been approved yet. Isn't that also an approval process? So I think they...
How long does that take?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't concern myself with it. I've said this once. I've said it a couple 13, 14 times. I'm not interested in things that don't concern me, though I probably should be. Here's another idea, Genevieve. I'm going to cover myself in Rod Stewart, Sting, and ELO albums and go as Warren, or at least go as Warren's wishes
love that one.
For the Super Bowl halftime show. Rod Stewart, Sting, and ELO.
That is something, by the way, not a lot of people are talking about. Those three.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Instead of going trick-or-treating, I'm going to stay home and hand out candy, give 20% of the candy in my bowl to one trick-or-treater, leaving scraps for everyone else, and going as Bill Guerin managing a hockey team. I'm going to wear a blonde wig, rolled up sweater sleeves, call out malpractice for anyone handing out candy that is yucky, get suspended for next year's Halloween, and go as Cheryl Reed. And then finally this one, I think you'll like this, Tenneby. I'm going to dress up as an NFL sky cam wire and go as what Tenneby thinks is causing his tee shots to land in the next fairway. Over to the right. Now that is a heck of a Halloween costume.
I did see and you never know what to believe anymore on the internet.
Correct.
Because there's so much AI and there's so much fake news. But I did see a TikTok video of Reichard's kick last night that ended up short.
Yes.
And someone doing, look at that. You can look at the wire from the camera again. It hit the wire.
Well,
and it showed the ball spinning the other way. I thought that was...
yeah. You just never know.
I mean, he was short on a 53-yard field goal. I'm guessing that was... because they just ran out on the field. So they didn't have time to switch to the actual kicking balls. So
Correct.
They had to use the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe that had something to do with it, but that's very unlike Reichard to go short on a 53-yard.
Exactly. Well, when it was on the way, I'm sure you were like me. I thought it was in. I mean, I was stunned when they said it's no good. I was thinking, well, what do you mean it's no good? But as you just stated, it was short.
Maybe it hit the wire.
It could have hit a wire. It could have hit a camera wire. We just don't know. Email that came into Common Man at 11:37 last night from Backup Art Guy. Backup Art Guy. He writes, Common, today I was reading about something called the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. In a nutshell, every time a choice with multiple possible outcomes is made, the universe branches off into separate parallel universes where each outcome occurs. And that's why we shouldn't be too sad after that Carson Wentz performance. Because just think of it. Somewhere there's an alternate universe where the Vikings signed Aaron Rodgers for $10 million. Justin Jefferson is leading the league in tutties, yards, and receptions. Addison and Thielen's numbers are through the roof. Hawkinson is a household name like Travis Kelce. Vikings win the big game. You and Tenna are killing segments, planning parade routes. They're a team that is talked about for generations to come as one of the best offenses to ever exist. Instead, we're in this reality where the Vikings did not sign Aaron Rodgers for $10 million. Sometimes I just can't believe it, and this is what those bleed purple fans wanted. Also, if I remember the story right, this theory means that there was a parallel universe where you hopped into a car with that Mexican bandito guy when you were hitchhiking. I'm sure glad I did.
I always love that one.
For those that don't know, I was hitchhiking one night. A car pulled over. I opened the door. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and the guy had one of those old man masks on, those realistic-looking ones. Get in the car. And I said...
Not going to work.
And I said, you got to take that mask off first. He goes, get in the car. And I go, nope, not going to work. And I slammed the door shut. He started to pull over to the shoulder of the road. I look back. Car is approaching. I start waving my arms at the car. How about of all the luck tend to be? On the dashboard, 2 times a red light spins around. In other words, it's an unmarked police car. He pulls over. Guy takes off. Cop rolls on the window and goes, what's up? I go, it's hitchhiking. That guy pulled over, and he had some kind of an old man mask on and wanted me to get in the car. And the cop looked at me and said, get in the car. Well, he's a cop, so I did.
Yeah.
I hop in the car. We take off. He starts radio, 1 Adam 12, 1 Adam 12. We have a Mexican bandito. Well, they didn't know he was the Mexican bandito. We've got an incident here. Within 2 minutes, there were 5 squad cars surrounding this guy and pulled him over. They got him out of the car. They spread-eagled on the hood of the car. They opened the trunk of the car. They pull out a Mexican sombrero and said, we think, that's what the guy told me, we think he's the Mexican bandito. Some guy's been robbing places while wearing a sombrero. And then I was kind of hoping he was going to take me home at that point, but okay, thanks. So what I did get from where the Mexican bandito guy pulled over and where the cop picked me up and they pulled over, I gained about 2.5 miles. So my walk home went from probably being about 5 or 6 miles to 2 or 3 or 4. So I did get a ride at least part way.
So the Mexican bandito story reminds me of, you've seen Home Alone, right? The movie Home Alone?
Yes, I have.
Where
there's 2 of them, right?
Well, there's multiple of them now,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there was 2 with Macaulay Culkin.
Yes, and I think I've seen both of them.
But yeah, the bad guys' name are the Wet Bandits.
Yes.
And their signature is to plug up the sink.
Yes.
And then let the whole house flood.
Correct.
And what they don't understand is, well, now when the cops do get you, they have every single house. You've now put your signature on every house that you've robbed. And I kind of feel like the same thing with the sombrero, right?
Yes.
Like, well, now we know every single store you robbed because you had your sombrero.
That is correct. You are the Mexican sombrero guy. You're right. And if I remember correctly, the ice
seem very
froze
smart to me.
on the steps. And who are the two actors again? The bad guy actors in
Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci.
I don't know the other guy's name.
I don't remember the other guy's name either.
Marvin and Harry are the characters.
And they slipped on the steps. It was a very good movie.
We watch it every Christmas.
Yes, we do
it's
too.
Our family tradition.
Yeah, that's what we do as well. It's even at my boys' ages of 22 and 20, we still watch it. Though I must say, I kind of watch it now the second or third time with half an eye. I don't like to repeat things. It's just really not what I like to do. So there you go. More talkbacks. A couple more text messages.
I kind of like the talkbacks.
Yeah, they are. They're nice. We'll start doing them more often, and it gives the listeners an opportunity to weigh in, and they don't have to hang on hold forever, and then do long rambling dissertations, much which have been lifted from the books of Deuteronomy, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, I think, in that order. And then I'm out of luck after that. We'll break. We'll come back. He's got a keyword, though.
The Fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is dollar. Enter now at KFAN.com.
time where Game 1 of the Fall Classic, the World Series, would give me goosebumps, mostly because it's really cold. Actually, it didn't back in the olden days because it started in the first weekend in October. Now, because of, what do? We do a wild card. Do you have to win like 3 series before you get to? You do, right? Unless you got to buy. There's the first round that's
wild card, divisional.
Yeah, wild card,
CS.
divisional, CS, and then the World Series. L.A. Dodgers looking to be the first team to repeat in a number of years. I read how long it's been, but I don't recall now. But it seems like it's been a long time. Could it be 10, 12, 15 years, maybe more, since a team repeated as World Series champs, and the Dodgers have as good a chance as any. They won last year. I actually thought the Brewers would beat the Dodgers. They had during the regular season matchups between the two, the Brewers, formerly of the American League, now in the National League for a number of years, they beat the Dodgers. They swept them in the home and home. Winning 6 games to Zippo. And then they just got swept. They got broomed right out of the National League Championship Series.
Last time we had a repeat was the New York Yankees in 2000.
Okay.
That was a 3-peat.
So it's been 25 years since it's happened. The Dodgers starting rotation dominated the Brewers in the NLCS Tennessee. This is the starting staff. They posted a combined 0.63 ERA. That's in 4 games. A 0.63 ERA with 35 strikeouts and 28.2 innings over 4 games. The rotation allowed just 2 earned runs in the sweep, with stellar performances from Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Ohtani. Game 1, Snell pitched 8 scoreless innings. Game 2, Yamamoto threw a complete game, the first of its kind in the postseason in 8 years. It's been 8 years since a complete game was tossed in the World Series. And I always refer back to, people probably get, I don't like to repeat myself very often, but I'm going to make an exception here. 1968, my favorite year in sports when I was a kid. That's when the Tigers won the World Series, my favorite baseball team. Mickey Lolich pitched 3 9-inning complete game victories. There was no setup guy, no 8th-inning guy, no closer. He pitched them all. Glasnow pitched 5 2/3. In Game 3, gave up just 1 run. And then we know about the legendary performance by Ohtani. He pitched 6 scoreless innings, recorded 10 strikeouts, and then he was named the NLCS MVP. Overall performance, ERA 0.63, lowest in championship series history for a starting rotation. Innings pitched 28.2, 35 strikeouts, earned runs only 2, hits allowed just 9. Over 4 games, the starting staff. Now again, remember, there may have been a hit or two when relievers came in for Glasnow because he pitched 8, or Snell pitched 8. Glasnow just pitched 5 2/3, and Ohtani just pitched 6. I say just, but they did not. Only Yamamoto went the distance. So I don't know if that ERA was boosted up when or if there were a couple more hits when the relievers came in. The reason I bring that up is I go back to even a few years before my beloved 1968 Detroit Tigers won the World Series with Mickey Lolich's brilliant performance with pitching, as I just mentioned, 3 9-inning complete game victories. I also remembered in 1966 when the Dodgers with Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, and Claude Osteen took on the Baltimore Orioles. And you've heard me mention that Orioles staff of 71, that in 71 they had 4 pitchers win 20 games. Dave McNally, Jim Palmer, Mike Cuellar, and Pat Dobson all won 20 games. Nobody wins 20 games anymore because they just don't go the distance in games. So we all get that. But even back in 1966, Baltimore was very good. They had a great stretch starting in 66 through 71 or through 1971, I think, where they went to, they won 1 World Series. They won, I think, 2 World Series championships. But I'm looking at, oh no, don't do this to me now, please. because I planned this out so carefully. Hold on, let me try it again. Here it is. 1966 World Series. Baltimore beats the Dodgers in a sweep, 4-0. Now, game number 1, Baltimore wins 5-2. Okay. And in that game, Dave McNally was the starting pitcher, and he did not fare as well as you would expect. Where are his numbers here? Why is this not cooperating with me? I'd planned this out so much. I thought I'd done such a good job. I've blown it. I thought I had the breakdown for each game. So now I'm mad at myself. Adrian Peterson. I'm not going to give up. I don't care. I might lose a listener.
You hit your ball into the woods.
Yeah, but it's just so I have this.
Salvage a bogey.
Yeah, I'm trying to salvage a bogey. I guess I can just. Okay, let me do it this way. Give me one more second. Give me 1 second. I'll do it. 1968 World Series.
I like when we get to this part of the song.
Yeah, I've never gotten here.
What are you looking for?
Looking for box scores.
1966?
Yeah. Orioles defeated the Dodgers 5-2 in game 1. Orioles pitcher, so Dave McNally struggled. He gave up 2 runs in the first few innings. Mo Drabowski came out of the bullpen. He earned the win with 6.2 scoreless innings. The Dodgers had 2 runs and 3 hits in that game, tend to be 2 runs, 3 hits. Don Drysdale was the losing pitcher. Just so you know, those were the only runs the Dodgers would score in the World Series and getting swept in 4 games. They were shut out in the next 3 games. Game 2 box score. Jim Palmer went 9 innings, gave up 4 hits, no runs. 9 innings, 4 hits, no runs. So now they're up 2-0.
How about in that game, by the way, because I'm looking at the box score?
Yeah.
Dodgers had 6 errors in that game.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that.
6 errors.
Obviously, they couldn't field a pitch and give themselves a chance to win the ball game. Game 3 only took an hour and 55 minutes. The only run of the game was scored in the 5th inning on a home run by Paul Blair off of Claude Osteen. Osteen only surrendered 3 hits in that game. Wally Bunker, who was the winning pitcher in that game.
Who?
Game 3. And Wally gave up 6 hits, but no runs. And now they're up 3-0. And then you get to the game 4 box score. Hold on to your horses. Hold on to your horses. Game 4. Won by Dave McNally. Dodgers, no runs, only 4 hits. So 6-4-4, and what was it? 3, I believe. In other words, that pitching performance by the starting staff and the relief pitcher, Mo Drabowski, for the Orioles, every bit really, I mean, they gave up almost
17 hits in 4 games.
Yeah, 17 hits in 4 games.
Just 2 runs.
And so that's a hell of a performance. That's what the way they used to play, and that's why as much as I'm always, I don't like the New York teams and the LA teams and the Chicago teams and the big cities and this and that and that. But I do admire this Dodgers team that they're winning games with pitching. That's what I like. I like it just like back in the olden days when pitching used to be the most important part of the game. We'll take a final break. Maybe a couple more talkbacks. Tend to be maybe you got something on your mind that's just been gnawing on you. But we'll one more segment to go. The victory formation segment, we call it, after another winning week here on the Common Man program on The Fan. Sons. That's what it sounds like. Mumford and Sons. You familiar with Mumford and
sure.
Sons? Doesn't this sound like a Mumford and Sons?
Maybe.
Sons kind of a little banjo there, little washboard. Yeehaw. Couple 13-14 passed. I'm the common man. He's 10 of B. We had a personnel development that I broke the news. I actually broke the news on this very radio station, and several people alerted me to the fact that it made the press. Bring me the news. Wrote a piece up that our former senior vice president of programming, Greg Swedberg, who has held that position for, I don't know if that was the name of the position when I first started working here, but he's been here longer than I have. He was basically in charge of we have 6 stations in or is it down to 5? I think it's 6. We have 6 stations in our cluster here in Minneapolis, and he oversees them all. He was program director of K102, and then Chad Abbott, PD for the KFAN and the Crackpot Conservative Station, and then my good friend Mitch Davis. Mitch is now, he was, I think, KDWB and Cities and maybe Cool as well. But Greg has now been promoted. He is now going to, he said he's not really overseeing all the country stations in the iHeartMedia chain nationwide, but he is like a consultant, right? And visits with them and helps guide them because he's done such a terrific job here. He's so good at what he does. He was just recently inducted into the Country Radio Hall of Fame. That's how good he is at his job. And while I'm happy for Greg, I'm sad for myself because it's just not the same around here for me. I think of everybody in this building, nobody relied on the leadership. You know me, Timmy. How many times have you heard me walking around the building go, I'm looking for leadership and none's to be found? You going to get any from Abbott and Jay? How about the coroner's office? I never see my good friend Derek. But Greg Swedberg was always that constant. He was like the Motel 6. The light was always on in his office. No matter when I got it, I could stay. Now, I didn't stay late very often. But there were times where I had some production work to do, get caught up in a conversation with a salesperson. 5 o'clock, he's still there. And he's been there since who knows when.
He's never working from home.
Never working from home.
He's not remote.
Never remote. Constantly working. And I would, other than Chris Carr in the morning show, they always spend a lot of time with Greg as well. I think I'm the only person on the fan that every single day would spend at least 10 or 15, maybe 20 minutes to a half hour before I went on the air, getting some leadership, some motivation. And then I would oftentimes go there after my shift at least for 20 minutes to a half hour. He was like, do you remember the song Puff the Magic Dragon?
Oh, yeah.
Together, Common and Greg would travel on a boat with billowed sail. Common kept a lookout perched on Greg's gigantic tail. Noble kings and listeners would bow whenever they came, and pirate radio stations would lower their flags when Greg roared out his name. But then, of course, as those familiar with the song by Peter, Paul, and Mary, it says, a talk show host lives forever, but not so senior vice presidents of programming. Painted wings and giant rings make way, or painted wings and giant gonkulators make way for other toys. One gray day it happened. Greg Swedberg came no more. In Common, the mighty talk show host, he ceased his fearless roar. I never get to see him. He's not there now. No! It's affecting my performance. I don't like it. I don't like his new schedule because now he's here, a few minutes here, but a few minutes there, here a few, there a few, everywhere a few minutes, and he's going to be traveling now nationwide. There have been a lot of changes in personnel that we've had to adjust to. You're the third producer I've had. We've had 3 different program directors since I've been here. We've had Mick, Crusher, Tyler, Alexander, and now my good friend Derek. 5 GMs. And there was an adjustment period for all of them, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to adjust to this. Puff, Jackie Paper. Hello.
I'm not dead. What are you doing? You make it sound like I'm dead.
Well, I wasn't trying to make it sound like you're dead, but I went back there to go check. You're not there again. I never get to see you.
Did I not talk to you this morning?
I guess you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very
memorable,
brief.
wasn't it?
Well, there's just not as much time anymore. And I've always felt like
I've noticed it since I'm not there all day long. Yeah. That your performance has slipped. I mean frankly, a lot of other people have too.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. And that's what I'm afraid of. And it's just not the same. And it's affecting my mood. It's affecting my performance. It's affecting everything about me. How could you do this to me? How could you do this to me?
All you ever did was come in, read a couple song lyrics, and make me guess what song they were from.
And you were like 98 out of 100.
I would ask you got anything for today? And you would go, no, not really. And that was kind of the whole thing every day.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe we could just
can't you find someone else to do that with?
How about we just record a conversation and I just play it? Maybe we could do that.
Well, and discuss, maybe we should do that with the entire Noon to 3 show. But
wait, hold on. Well, anyway, what are you going to be here next week?
I mean, you had it on the air, and I'm listening, and I'm going, I must be dead. So, and I'm not dead.
Well, no, you're not dead.
I'm done working for iHeartMedia. I'm still around. Let's just do whatever.
All right, little Jeff.
And you and Mitch Davis just need to get a little closer. That's all.
I guess you're right, because Mitch and I are already pretty close to begin with. We've talked music radio before. I've been to his ear a couple of occasions. I used to be in the music radio end of things.
Is that right?
I programmed a number of music radio stations too.
Yeah. Well, no, you have not. How many?
Well, 5.
5?
Well, okay, 3, but
really?
5 sounds like more than 4.
Well, it does. Yeah, you're good point.
Well,
Carmen, I'm not dead. I really wish you wouldn't go on the air and say I am.
Okay, well, congratulations, and maybe like Lazarus, you'll rise from the dead. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I see it.
Appreciate it. Do you miss him as much as I do?
Is he going to miss not having to hear that 5-3-4 program director bit again?
Anyway, here's somebody else that doesn't like me. Let me see if I got the right one here. I never know.
Akadak. Good afternoon, guys. Kyle from Mississani.
This is good.
Just questioning some of KOC's play calling. You're down a few offensive linemen. You can't get the run game going. Your quarterback's got a bad shoulder. And you're doing long, drawn-out passing routes. Wentz didn't have time to even see the wide receiver turn around to catch the ball. And then you get down to the red zone, and you go right into shotgun formation. You don't try to run the rock a couple times. Rosemer should have been in there. Obviously, Wentz couldn't get any steam on the ball.
I don't necessarily disagree with all of that. I do think we talked about that where KOC, his offensive philosophy, what his style is, they do like to get the ball downfield. And with that offensive line, it was difficult to do. Now, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe if KOC was here, he'd say, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. We were trying to throw shorter patterns. There was just no time for him to throw. There would be some that would think that Wentz was hanging on to the ball too much, too long. I mean, that does happen. We've seen quarterbacks do that, and maybe there was a play or two in which he did that. But from the naked eye, Tenneby, as I'm watching, I think it was mostly just no protection. I don't think it was because he was hanging onto the ball looking for an open receiver. He seemed to be under siege from start to finish. That had a lot to do with Darisaw out of the game. And, Brandell was doing a nice job at center, I guess, under the circumstances, but this is only his third game he's ever played there. And then they were
playing with 2 starters, and the 2 most important on that line are your tackles.
Right,
and they're
O'Neal
out.
was out, right.
I'm not going to act like KOC is a perfect play caller, and that I'm sure there's parts in each game you can pick and choose. Hey, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? I think generally speaking, the idea of you mentioned KOC likes the offense where we're taking some time to develop, and we want to be able to hit some intermediate, deeper shots. For those asking for the Vikings to now change that style of play, and because we don't have the pass rush to do it, that's fine, but they also don't have the personnel to play the other way as well, right? Like, all of their guys on offense are not yak guys. Justin Jefferson, as good as he is not a yak guy that you just throw. I know he had a good one a week ago, but generally speaking, like, throw him a 2-yard pass and he's going to turn 2 into 15. He's not that guy. Jordan Addison's not that guy. TJ Hawkinson is not much of a yards after catch guy. They don't have an elite running back that's just going to make a bunch of people miss in those spots. Adam Thielen, is he even on the team anymore?
Sounds like you're describing Detroit's game. They have guys that can make yards after catch, and they have running backs that can make. So
you can play that way with that. They have drafted and brought in players that fit the style of offense KOC wants to run. And then when you don't have the offensive line to do the protection, they can't just all of a sudden change because they don't have the personnel to do it.
Idiot I've ever heard to say that wouldn't have changed the game around. An interception, a pick six. Man, you are a complete idiot. That's all I know.
Name caller, guys, call him. That was at the beginning of the show where you and I had a disagreement. Yeah. You thought that had that not been overturned, and that would have been a pick six, it may have changed the direction of the game. I insist that in no way, shape, or form does it change that game, because how many times have we seen teams get a pick six or something goes in there? I saw the Vikings shut down Philadelphia in an NFC Championship game on a 3-and-out and then march down the field and score 7 points. They got beat 37-7. I remember Norv when the Vikings shut down the Patriots, marched down the field. The sophisticated offense was up 7-0. They lost 31-7. With what I saw after, so the interception was overruled. There was nothing that prevented the Vikings from intercepting another pass or sacking a quarterback or something. They just allowed Herbert and the and the Chargers offense to march down the field in like a 9-minute drive and score with a tutty. And then they scored again, and then they scored again, and our offense could do nothing. Yeah, it could change the complexion of the game some, but I think anybody that thinks had that upheld, we'd be talking about a Viking victory. I think you're delusional. I just do, and I'm sorry, and you might not be. I just think it's insane. It's not as though the game ended up final score 37-30, wow, or 37-27, or 37-20. They got absolutely destroyed in every phase of the game, and I just don't think, again, we'll never know, but I'll just say to the email, I think you're the idiot if you believe, if you think that, and I guess I'm calling Ted to be an idiot.
You're calling me an idiot now.
I just think it's crazy. I just think it's crazy to think that would have changed the game that much. I just don't think it.
I will say the Chargers were the better team, and it's very likely as that game moves along, regardless of whether the Vikings got 7 to begin with or not, that the better team would have emerged. But, you mentioned the Chargers walking up and down the field, scoring that first drive. Sure. Well, now it's 7-7 as opposed to 7-0. And then when they score their second one, it's 14-0 instead of 14-7, right? And once you get down multiple possessions in a National Football League, it does squeeze what you can do in your playbook, right? You have to play a different style of play based off that. And then we're not even talking about just the human psychological momentum, just how you can feel psychologically for both teams based off of a pick six.
I'm wrong. They would have won.
No, they wouldn't have won. Oh. They probably wouldn't have won. But to just completely dismiss it, I think is an idiot. You're an idiot for that.
The reason I completely dismiss it is because the game was so one-sided. Yep. It was literally like a varsity against a junior varsity. It was that bad. I mean, the Vikings couldn't run the ball, couldn't pass the ball. They couldn't stop. They couldn't put any. It was just awful. So in a closer game, because if you can't, if you have a pick six in the very first possession of the game overturned, and you just curl up in the fetal position because, we didn't get that point, so now it's really going to be bad for us, and you let them march that, then you're not psychologically tough or a mentally tough enough team. You're soft psychologically. Matter of fact, you should take that and go, so they're going to take that away from us and rob us? Somebody on that sideline is supposed to say, We just had a tutty taken from us. Let's go take it back from them. Nobody does. I don't know. I just think it's to me, I think it's ridiculous to think that could have happened. But
all I know is football games are about big plays and turnovers, and that was a combination of the both that was taken away.
Indeed it was. Let's see what this one says.
Hey, Common. Hey, Tana. From this group's perspective, KOC has 3 jobs. Is to put the best team on the field to win, protect his team, and protect his players. And last night, he did none of those 3. He failed at all of them. And we have to ask the question, why won't he play Brosmer? I'm no Gophers fan, but you have to wonder why Brosmer can't see the field until there's a minute 30 left in a game that's a blowout. Just why?
Again, I also do not think that Brosmer would have been the answer. Like all of a sudden we found, Nick Foles for when Nick Foles had that magical little bit of a run. I do think, here's what I'll tell you. McCarthy wasn't deemed not healthy enough to play. You're going to tell me Wentz was healthy enough to play? It's double standard.
Correct.
Wentz was not, should in no way, shape, or form. Did you see he had the brace from the very first time that he got knocked down? It wasn't a vicious body slam, and he was immediately wincing. Wentz was wincing about the pain. Why is he in the game? And again, I know if the medical staff says, well, yeah, he can play. Well, the same thing McCarthy could have played. Well,
with Wentz, it just might be a pain tolerance thing, right? Like you're not going to make the injury worse by playing. It's just, can you handle the pain? But that was my point going into when we were having the McCarthy-Wentz debate. This idea that J.J. McCarthy has to be 100% to play, I just thought was fallacy, right? Like, right. I know he's not Pat Mahomes, but Pat Mahomes has had sprained ankles and he goes out and he plays. If you thought J.J. McCarthy with a 80% ankle gave you the best chance to win, I still think you play him unless I don't think it could have gotten worse at that point with a sprained ankle. So there was more to it than just he's got to be 100%. Nobody plays at 100% in the NFL.
Very rarely.
They're all beat up.
Yeah, except maybe opening day. And then after the first game, you usually got bumps and bruises. And some players stay, depending upon your position and your activity level in the game, you might last a week. But certainly by the time you get to this point of the season, 6, 7, 8 games in, everybody's got an owie.
JJ will be back next week, so
he'll be back. McCarthy.
We'll see what we got.
Yeah, we'll see him. It's kind of a soft part of the schedule because Detroit's really not very, very good. Boy, it could get ugly, but we'll see. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit with you today. We truly did. We're back Monday at 12 noon, but stick around. Big ticket, Brett Blakemore. They're next, right here on the Fan. Enjoy your weekend.
And now till we meet again. Adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Minnesota!
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Well done, young man!
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.